I think the men who say you should get money first and then get married are cringe. And this is why. So what I've noticed recently, there's a certain type of influencer, maybe, well, from what I've seen, it's usually an entrepreneur type, finance guy, kind of money guy, business guy. And the message that I keep seeing is that brothers should chase money first and then get married. So essentially, a brother should be in a very, very good financial situation, maybe have at least 100,000 in his bank account or maybe 1 million, and then he should find a wife, and apparently this is beneficial. And the reasoning for this is, well, the initial reason is that so you can provide, right? Because apparently you need to be rich to provide for a family. Yeah. The reason number two is that so you can attract, you have more leverage in the marriage market. You can attract a higher quality, a better woman to be your wife. And I have watched so many of these videos now, and I often think, how is she better? If you have more money, how would that attract someone who's better, who's higher quality? And what is higher quality? Because I think once we establish what higher quality is, then we can better understand what their mindset is, what these money, I don't know what to call them, these money chasers, what their mindset is, what they consider higher value. Because in my eyes, I'll tell you what a higher value, and I don't really like to use that term, but a higher value woman is. A woman who is on her deen, a woman who's practicing. She prays her obligatory prayers, and she at least tries her best to pray her sunnah prayers. A woman who has hayat, she has modesty, she's shy, right? She's feminine. She covers up, hijab is obligatory. She should at least wear hijab, at least. And for me, higher quality is a woman who wears niqab. That's just for me. Obviously, this is somewhat subjective. And there's a whole bunch of other sort of factors. A woman who respects and obeys her parents. A woman who is nurturing. A woman who is looking to have a family. There's a whole bunch of different attributes, right, that a Muslim man should consider when choosing a wife. But none of these are related to how much money you earn. And you having more money, how would that attract this type of woman, this higher value woman? Now, they're thinking every time they say, oh, you can make money and then attract the woman who you want, is more to do with beauty. Because excessive beauty and putting your beauty on display, it goes hand in hand with a woman who doesn't have hayat. She doesn't have modesty. Because how would you know? If she's so focused on her own beauty, she's most likely going to be focused on makeup, on cosmetic surgeries, on posting photos on Instagram. This just typically is it's the profile of this type of woman. A woman who's super focused on a man's money. Why would she be focused on a man's money? To enjoy the spoils of this dunya. And that's a woman who's focused on this dunya rather than the hereafter. And so would you really want to wife this type of woman? I would say no. Now, there obviously are some brothers who aren't as practicing. Yeah, go for it. You should go with that woman because you're not practicing enough to get these higher value women who are on their deen, who are practicing, who are modest. And look, the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is to get married. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in an authentic hadith that if you are able to get married, you should get married. Marriage should not be a burden. It should not be made difficult for people, right? When marriage is made hard, when nikah is made hard, zina becomes easy. Because if a brother, has to be in a position where, I need to provide 10k meher or 50k, he's probably gonna think, I can't afford that, or is it even worth it? And he's always going to have these sexual urges, so he might actually act on it because he's going to give up. And now a lot of these brothers would say, oh, but what if your life is in shambles? You shouldn't get married then. Yeah, I agree, you shouldn't get married if your life is in shambles. But how many Muslim men, how many of their lives are actually in shambles? or how many of their lives are just average. But they're made to feel as though they can't get married because you have these Andrew Tate wannabes who call themselves Muslim, but they look up to figures like Andrew Tate instead of, I don't know, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam or the Sahaba. And they look up to figures like this, and people like Andrew Tate and these business guys, these money chasers, all they do is push this message of, oh, you need to level up, you need to have this amount of money, you need to be able to drive this car, you need to, if you don't have this, you won't be able to have a wife who can obey you, have a wife who can respect you. And they put this fear into the average brother's heart. And so he's thinking, oh no, I can't settle for this, for a wife that I can get right now because she's not going to obey me. It's a bunch of rubbish. If you are really that man, that guy, who a woman can respect and obey, you don't need money. You don't need money to command a woman's respect if you are really that guy. And so as brothers, we need to look inwards rather than the materialistic lifestyle that these just rubbish pushers push onto average Muslim men. Oh, make this money, you can move to UAE, you can do this and that. Bruv, a bunch of nonsense. Look inside of you. Look how you can improve internally. Drop the ego, right? Get on your deen. Start working out. Start leveling up in all of these ways. Become more social. Become better at understanding people, at understanding women. This will help you way more. If you improve your confidence in that sense internally, your life will improve exponentially. It won't be this fake facade of, oh, look at me, I have money, I have cars. You take that away from these men, and what do they have? Their ego. That's all they have. Once you take away the materialistic possessions that they have, there's nothing left. It's all a facade. And remember that things like this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can just take it away from you in a blink of an eye, and you'll be left with nothing. Whereas if you have confidence, if you have self-worth, if you have your 5 prayers a day, if you have a wife who loves you and respects you, and maybe some children and some other things, that is worth way more than any amount of money in the world and any car that you can drive. Because wallahi, on your deathbed, when you're surrounded by, you just have some money, you have a woman who only really married you because of the lifestyle you could provide her with, are you really going to look at her and be like, oh, you was a real one? Once you're facing death, are you going to regret all of the time that you wasted trying to make money instead of praying? You're like, oh, I'm going to skip this prayer. I need to be here. I need to be in this business meeting. I need to do this. Are you going to think back and be like, oh yeah, it was all worth it for this one life? Which one is it? You need to choose. It's not all about money. There is balance. And by the way, if you get married, you can still make money. This is such a myth. Yeah. A lot of guys say, oh yeah, but you're spending a lot more and you're going to have less time because you need to spend it with your wife. Yeah, but at the same time, your wife is going to save you a lot of time. She's going to save you a lot of money. Instead of going out and buying your own food and cooking it and cleaning your own clothes and cleaning the apartment or house that you live in, she's likely going to do that for you because she loves you and she wants to take care of you. Instead of you doing it yourself or paying a maid to do it. At the end of the day, these influencers are only telling you these things because they want to sell you something. That's the truth behind it. Any of these guys who are pushing this are also pushing a course on how to make money. Because the best kind of advertising and marketing is you create the problem and then you sell it. You sell a solution. So I just want to put this message out there. Hopefully, if you were in that mindset of, I need to make money, I'm telling you now, none of these guys who are pushing that money lifestyle thing, who live in UAE, hardly any of them are actually married, yeah, firstly. And two, I guarantee their lives are not the lives that they truly want to live. They are unfulfilled. I've had money. It's not difficult to make money, bruv. It's not difficult. At the age of 24, I was on 6 figures on a permanent employee contract. Yeah, you know how difficult that is. I gave it up for Islam. And I'm not saying everybody should do that, but look at my life now. It's exponentially better. I went from a life of where I didn't even want to get married. I just wanted multiple girlfriends. I wanted to do fun stuff all the time. I wanted money, 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 money. Fun, fun, fun. And now I live a fulfilled life. I provide. I have a wife who respects me. I have a wife who's modest, right? Who I'm proud of. These men don't. So yeah, it's your choice. Assalamu alaikum.